Hello everyone, my name is Julie Simon. I work for Amazon Web Services, and today I'm here to lead you through this session called How Mable Revolutionizes Care with a Data-Driven Business Model. We are running this session with our partner Tableau. Before I go a little bit further, I want to remind you a few of our housekeeping rules. First of all, you are all muted. You've got this option to actually use the chat box to enter your questions. We will have a Q&A session at the end of today, of the hour, and we'll make sure that if there are any questions that we haven't been able to answer, we will answer to you by email later. This webinar is being recorded, and also later you're going to get the link. At the end of the webinar, you're going to receive a survey, and we would really value if you can spend a little bit of time answering the survey. Your feedback is very important to us. So today, we are partnering with Tableau in our partner webinar series. Partners are actually very important to AWS because they are part of our family. For those who do not know AWS, we've been on the market for more than 15 years, and AWS has been the world's most comprehensive and broadly adopted cloud platform. As for Tableau, it is a visual analytic platform transforming the way we see data. Our two speakers will be able to explain that really well. So today it's about Tableau and how they help their customer called Mable. So basically, I'm going to introduce you the two speakers of the day. And as I mentioned, Tableau will be represented today by Larry Dioneda, who is a principal solution engineer. And then we've got Mable, who's going to be represented by Scott Savage. Scott is actually the Chief Product and Technology Officer. They have a fantastic story to share. Before we get started, let me share with you a little video that explains really well what Mable is actually doing. Thank you.
I'd like to find Dad an aged care worker who can visit him in Newport on Thursdays, help out with meals, and who plays the guitar.
Mable is the website that's revolutionising home care and support. It lets you find and choose people offering the support that you want. We're online, so it's easy and affordable. Plus, you can use your home care package. Find your people at mable.com.au.
Thanks very much, Julie, for that video. Yes, so as Julie said, my name's Scott Savage. I'm the Chief Product and Technology Officer at Mable. I've been here for a little over 2 years. And let me tell you about Mable. So Mable is a two-sided marketplace that looks after people with a disability or aged care in Australia who are looking to stay in their own home and get the support that they need. And they're looking to get choice and control around support. So they're looking to choose who comes into their house and cares for them. So Mable so far has delivered over 5 million hours of delivered care, which was something we're really proud of, and helped a lot of customers like the one you see in the video, who's actually a real customer of the platform. So we're very proud of that. But that kind of growth, just over a couple of years, involves a lot of challenges, and we've been doubling in size every year. So even from when I started, I started 2 years ago with a tech team of 10 people. Just 2 data science people, and now my team's up to 40, and we have a data science team of 7 or 8 people, so including data engineers and data analysts and data scientists. So over that period of time, lots of change, and the infrastructure has had to evolve along with it. So I'll talk you through some of that journey today. And as we've gotten bigger, there's been more data sources to integrate. So we're now well over 10 data sources we've had to kind of pull into the platform. And again, that involves really scalable infrastructure, larger data storage, faster ways of analyzing data and pivoting data. And then the rest of the business has come along, right? It's not just tech. We have to bring the business to be a data-led culture, and everyone should be involved in data-led decision-making. So we have at least 50 people querying production-level data at any point in time, and trying to do, whether it's marketing or HR or finance or our customer operations team, every function should be using data in order to get insights and to be able to do their jobs more efficiently and serve our customers better. And finally, just the marketplace. The nature of a marketplace is that there are 1,000 to the power of 1,000 ways of matching everyone on the platform. So it's a very complicated process to find, who is it that you connect with. There's, a large personality matching element. There's a safety matching element, qualifications, location, availability. There are a number of different factors we have to look at here. And so that's made Mable a fairly data heavy business, or what looks like a very people-centered business on the outside, and absolutely it is, but the magic is really the data underneath. And so let me give you one example of where we use data to power our platform. So, when we were just a startup, you do a manual process around how we do incidents or complaints. So you put up a form, it comes through into Salesforce, it's our CRM system, and then we have, an investigations team that triage it manually. They have, some basic reports and dashboards around that. And any, ongoing trends or issues, we roll back into our product roadmap to try and address at scale. But this number of issues and a number of people is multiplying constantly. So, and there are certainly patterns there that we'd like to be able to deal with and give better service around. So how do we start scaling this? How does a business, of less than 50 people start to scale a service like this without just throwing people at the problem, right? Which only works in the early days. So we looked at Tableau to start doing this, and we started bringing all of those incidents, complaints data into the service, into Tableau, started bringing in behavioral signals around them as well, and started to just do rules-based prototyping around this service and building what we call a moderation service. So how do we spot incidents before they even happen or before they're even reported to us? So we can still use the cases, but we can use this as really as training data for an algorithm rather than a working queue for a moderation team. And we can iterate on that. We can send back false positives and keep calibrating that algorithm. And then we can have that dashboard in Tableau, which saves the team a lot of time, right? We're filtering out all of the stuff that we know that the pattern's picking up. We can tag the stuff that's really important that the team can get onto, and it's really just the true positive cases. So we're saving 30 hours a week just on that moderation service, which is one of 10 processes that we've built in Tableau and scaled out. And so that's really helped us scale as a business. Now we're decoupled. We're not having to hire every time we're doing more transactions and getting more customers. We can scale much more effectively. But what's really interesting is that how does this start to relate to other algorithms? Well, if we start to know what bad behavior looks like, maybe we can start to know what good behavior looks like. And we start to know, well, is this fraud or is this inappropriate behavior? Or we can start segmenting, and we now have a really great data structure that we can use to roll out other algorithms. And so we go, okay, now we've got this practice of rolling out a service which goes into a queue, which prioritizes the team and helps us scale. How do we build an architecture that works around this and helps us scale even more going forward? So if we look at the architecture that we use on AWS and with Tableau today, there are a couple of drivers of this architecture, the primary one being scale. But it's great for us as well because our whole platform was already built on AWS, so it made sense to, given that's where our production data sat, let's sit it right next to our Tableau and our Redshift and make that import really easy. But you can see it gives us another path. So we have, the prototyped algorithm in Tableau. It's a rules-based system. We spun up really quickly. We can connect it out to Salesforce really easily. Okay, so we've got that up and running. But then if we want to take it to the next level, we can use services like SageMaker in AWS to then turn it into a full machine learning algorithm, which is even more precise and even more scalable. So, so that's an amazing scalability that we can tap into. There are various other things driving this architecture. So one is a regulatory one, which is we're a health tech business, so we have very sensitive data. And we operate in the aged care sector, and as part of the Aged Care Act in Australia, we have to keep all our data, the data residency into Australia. And so we can bring instances like Tableau on AWS into our Australia-based availability zone, and we can be sure that we keep residency and we keep all of that sensitive data safe and okay under the regulation, which is very important. And so we also then can plug in multiple fire hoses. So we say, okay, we've got our production data, but then can we bring in data from partners? So we partner closely with Checked, which is an identity verification service. We can bring in data from them. We can bring in data from credit card facilities, from our Salesforce customer data. So is there correlation between the number of calls we get from a particular customer and the likelihood of getting an incident? We can again look at that visualized in Tableau, make some decisions around that in terms of, is it rule-based? Is there something going on? Do we need to cut the data a different way? And then we can start to iterate into an algorithm and start to scale the infrastructure after that. So it's a really powerful architecture for us. It's something that we spend a lot of time on, and really helps the entire business across the board, to the point where 1,200 Tableau dashboards published last year. Constantly everyone publishing dashboards, real wide access to data. But this, it does again come with the next level of challenge. It's almost been too successful. Now you have so many people accessing the data, so much proliferation of dashboards and usage. How do you start to train the culture of your business to keep this under control and to keep this organized, and to put rules around, who has access to private data, who has access to sensitive data, is that anonymized, are different sources treated at different levels, who trains everyone? And so this is the people challenge that comes along with this architecture. So in order to deal with that people challenge, we created a program called Data Champions, and we had a bit of a silly kind of access level competition. We thought, how do you could do gold, silver, bronze, or you could do various things. We went with animals, more sea animals particularly, no real reason, just the names were cool. And so we actually had a little contest where you would pass and get a little certificate once you passed some basic Tableau training, and you answered an ethical data questionnaire, and you really understood our privacy policy. Then you would start as a minnow down the bottom, and you would get the ability to view Tableau reports and just to filter. And then as you expressed an interest in doing something with those dashboards, hey, I'd like to pivot it differently, or I'd like to if I could do a different cut, it would be really helpful for my role. You could go up to Starfish, and that had, some more training around your ability to edit and what are the different columns and sources and some basic stuff like that. And then as you go up, there was more levels of training and rigor and approval, and you got access to more data. But this gave us a really important way to scale data across the business, because we have a data science team of 7 people, but I don't want their full-time role to be pulling reports for people, right? That's a really boring role, and they don't understand the full context, so they're not best placed to do that work. Actually, the best placed people to do that type of work are embedded in your organizational, like in the functions across your organization. So even in this photo, we've got someone from marketing, someone from our customer operations team, someone from finance. There's a real sense of, okay, who across my function is passionate about data? Who do we want to put through the training program? Who do we want to trust with access? And then who's our go-to person when our function, needs some really context-specific data? And these people will see it as a really important career development exercise for them. They're very proud of their certificates, as you can see from the smiles in the photo, and it's a great career skill for them to build. So that's how Mable brought people along the journey. We kept our data safe. We use machine learning and Tableau and the data-driven insights wherever we can across every function of the business, not just tech. And yeah, we're really proud of where we've come so far, and we really believe that data is the way we're going to scale going forward. So with that, I'll hand it over to Larry from Tableau to tell you more.
Thanks very much, Scott. absolutely love that story on the people challenge and how you created the data champions. I love the little icons you had too around whales and shark. I want to be a whale shark. I wonder what I need to do there. But it's really key that you mentioned around people, because really that's what drives us here at Tableau. It's people. And at Tableau, since our inception, we've always been on a laser focused mission, and that is about helping people see and understand data. And that means more to us now than ever, because what we see is data empowers people. And I love how you had in your presentation there, Scott, the individuals with the certificates and those big smiles on their faces. So when you empower people with data, they start to tap into that power and they can do incredible things. They know your business. They know the data. They deliver innovative ideas to some of these really big problems and can deliver more meaningful solutions to those complex business questions. And these are impactful solutions that help drive the organization forward and help drive them forward as a community. Again, there's that people aspect. And we like to call them data people. I reckon you have better names, Scott, around sharks and whales. I tend to prefer that. And we believe that any person can be a data person. So helping everyone in your organization embrace their innate whale or shark gives you that secret weapon for creating success. And to do that, we look at data. Data is at the heart of any analytical journey. And at Tableau, we focus on enabling analytical insights for anyone with any data from anywhere. And so to do that, we need a platform that allows us to deploy analytics anywhere, like close to where our data is. In Scott's example, it was close to Redshift. It connects to data that we trust so that we can make smarter and faster decisions to create those insights usable by the whole organization. And so at Tableau, we continue to innovate these products, and what drives us is people. You don't need to be a technical specialist. We want the broad organization to be able to work with and understand their data. And we need to scale this across lots of people, and this may be within your organization and those that are external. And at Tableau, we believe the ecosystem provides the broadest and deepest platform. It's a fully integrated platform and provides a set of data management, governance capabilities, visual analytics, ways to tell stories around your data, which is a really powerful way of communicating information. There's the collaboration aspect, and Scott touched on around the governance piece. This is now getting people to see the data collectively and have that single view and story of the data. And then integrating that with Salesforce's industry-leading Einstein AI built right into the platform. And so Tableau offers the flexibility to make sure that all users can connect to any data wherever they are. Now, in this diagram, you can see that Tableau can connect to data sources in each of these 4 pillars, part of the AWS ecosystem here. Things in the raw data stream, for example, in the collect and store, connecting to Amazon S3 via Athena, for instance, and in the process catalog around those ingestion engines and those high performance in-memory data store engines, and of course the analyze and model layer. And because we can touch so many data sources, we can cover enterprise-wide use cases. As a Tableau analyst, it's important to focus on your use case that you're trying to deliver to the business so that Tableau can complement your workflow to make the most impact. And Scott touched on a great use case there around the data scientists, right? So for example, your data science teams, they can use Tableau. They're certainly going to be using other tools, but they can use Tableau to complement their workflow to kind of help amplify some of the complex things that they're working on to a much broader audience. This helps them amplify their work. They're doing some very skilled stuff. It'd be great if the non-technical people can really see what they're doing and shine a light on that. And Tableau can help here. Data engineers, say on the analyze and model side of things, can start to stitch data together and use Tableau to build reusable data assets that the business can go in and explore. And I love the way that Scott mentioned that people can get connected to the data and start to just discover what's there and leave, for example, the data engineers and the data science to those really big challenges, finding solutions and the precision in finding a solution to their business challenges and business questions and around the data. And so that final piece promotes end users and the business to adopt a self-service practice around the data and then foster that inquisitive analytical culture. And now we're starting to talk about data culture and the community. And so here's a great shot of the family portrait. It wouldn't be a Tableau presentation without the family portrait. And really, this is the full product suite of Tableau. And we provide the full intuitive analytics for all users, no matter where they do their work. And that's key here. We want to provide analytics in the workflow and in the context of the users, hence the portfolio. And so from on-prem to the cloud or fully hosted by Tableau, the platform gives teams the flexibility to fit into the data strategy. And with Tableau users inside and outside of Salesforce, the Tableau CRM can help leverage the data to do their jobs better than ever before. So now it's within their workflow, for instance. Tableau can connect to data that's outside of the Salesforce environment. And so we talked about the technology and the platform. What about people? Fostering a data culture helps to support your people. And at the heart of every successful data culture, we have found 3 core capabilities. There's a capability around agility. Specifically, when it comes to the agility side of it's around the environment itself. And when we talk about Tableau and the AWS ecosystem, that's a given. We're agile. The platform supports that. Great match. Then there's a capability around data and analytics proficiency within the user base. And Scott showed a great example around the icons, around whales and sharks and stingrays. Love that. How do we get people learning, upskilling in proficiency and embracing that spirit to learn? Playing games to kind of learn and step up those levels. And then there's a capability around community that is the heart of building and driving that culture. You want to do it with people within your organization and out. People supporting, encouraging, and helping each other to become data people or whales or sharks. Now, it's no surprise that 2 out of those 3 capabilities here are focused on people, right? So this is really key. And all of that needs to be built on trusted and governed data. That's the lifeblood of any successful data company. And then there's the process side of things. How do we execute on those 3 pillars to drive the results that we're looking for? Now, the Tableau Blueprint is a step-by-step guide that helps you build these capabilities. It provides concrete plans, recommendations, guidelines across those 3 pillars, and you can see them on the right here around agility, proficiency, and community. And so the process documented in the blueprint have been learned from working with many customers like Mable and other customers around the world. And the material can be used as guidelines, and they're also quite prescriptive, and you can use them as you need. And so in essence, the blueprint helps to establish that foundation of governance that balances the flexibility and control to enable people to have responsible access to the data, and it allows people in the whole organization to access that data if they're allowed to, and the right piece of data. So that governance piece, these are the steps to help build out that governance piece. Okay, so I guess the next question is, how do you get started? And that's super easy with Tableau. So here we have a guided evaluation. Now, think of a guided evaluation as kind of like a proof of concept. But you saw in the previous slides, we talked about empowering the people with data. We know Tableau, you know your data the best. And so what we want to do is work with you in a guided evaluation to show you what you can do with Tableau so that you can start to surface those insights within your data. And with Tableau, once you get the evaluation, once you go through the evaluation, you now actually have a live analytical environment that you can literally flip the switch, go live on the content and that you've built. And it's key also that we work with you to build that, because then it's your story, and data storytelling is foundational as part of surfacing that data or that information as insights for the organization and for your audience. And key thing here is to start small. And like I mentioned at the beginning, focus on those use cases. Tableau can do so many things in the back end. Try not to worry about that. Focus on your use case, focus on your audience. And the guided evaluation showcases that with you. And so with that, I'll hand over to Julie for Q&A and wrap up.
Thank you very much, Larry. Thank you, Scott. Really, really good story today. You know, I'm hoping the audience had a good time too. So thank you so much. We actually have a few questions for both of you. So I'm going to start with the first one. I guess for Larry first. According to your customer, what is Tableau's best feature or benefit, please? I think it would be also interesting to hear Scott's opinion.
Of course. It's a good question, Julie. Thanks for that. We often work with the analysts just struggling with the data that they have. And we often always hear that it's just easy to get started and easy to work with. And so when people start to just fire up Tableau, we start with a blank canvas. We don't have to worry about scripting or anything like that. They just start dragging and dropping and they discover it's really, really easy to use. And then they work out, they're able to now connect to all sorts of different data. And then there's a whole community of people that can help them with any questions. Googling how to do something in Tableau is usually the first 1, 2, or 3 results, which is fantastic. So ease of use.
Okay, ease of use. Noted. Scott, do you copy on that? Hopefully you do.
Yeah, I mean, one really kind of trivial example, but I mean, we're an Australia-based marketplace and delivering care is a very geographically constrained kind of service. And just the ability to throw any data onto a map really, really quickly, anyone being able to do that. It sounds really trivial, but it really brings to life the practical reality of delivering in-home care, and you can put some overlays on that so easily. Anyone can do it, and it makes the problem much more real for us.
Okay, thank you for that. And I think I've got a really good segue for the second question for you, Scott. Like somebody saying that is very impressed by the data champion ID. I think you've got a lot of success around that. I also heard Larry talking about it. And curious about how you've influenced the rest of the business to use more data in their day-to-day life.
Yeah, it's a good question. So maybe I'll give you an example even just from today. So one of those data champions was in our customer operations team, and she was a data champion for them, and she became quite passionate about it, but no background in data or any technical degree or anything like that. And she recently transferred into our data science team. She got very passionate about it. And now she's using the context she's got from her customer operations team, and she's only been in the data science team for 3 months. And she just did today a really, really nice analysis on what are the key factors that indicate a high quality worker on our platform. And she was able to pull out a really nice analysis in 3 months, and she'd never really, apart from the data champion program, she'd never used Tableau before. So, you know, straight away she's moved in, she's influenced her old team, but with full context, and that's really powerful, and it's a great way to influence that team because she's still one of them, right? So, yeah. So I was very impressed with that today.
That's a very good story. So I guess all the other departments are now scared you're going to steal all their stuff, right?
So, well, I think back again, maybe, who knows?
All right, I've got another question for Larry. It looks like Tableau is more for large enterprise. I'm a small company. Would Tableau be a good tool for me?
This is really around the use case. So focus on those use cases. And for anyone like what Scott mentioned, who's like never used Tableau before, we have lots of programs to help people just get comfortable with using it. So if it's right for your organization, focus on those use cases. And if you're brand new, take a look at the test drives. They're free. Check in with the Tableau marketing team. We run them regularly, and you get nice, friendly data, and we walk you through hand in hand. And for those looking to see if it's a right fit, we often talk to business users with a data or analytics challenge. And again, like I mentioned, start small. focus on the use case, focus on the audience, focus on your stakeholders and that key bit of information that they want to see. The rest will flow through.
Okay, that sounds very easy. I hope the audience get the same feeling. And I've got a last question for Scott, actually. What are the biggest challenge that you faced during implementation?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge is actually both a pro and a con. You get quite addicted to data across the business, and people, you start looking at how often people are checking dashboards, and you realize there are some people who are checking dashboards like every hour, and then you realize if something breaks, you know, people notice really quickly and it has a really big impact on your business. So one of the challenges, I guess, is, and Larry touched on it, you have to build the monitoring, and it actually forces some discipline around what are you monitoring? What are the really key data points that you need to know straight away if something's broken, and then be able to you know, who's responsible for bringing that back up. And so I think one of the challenges is building that monitoring infrastructure, and then having accountability for keeping up time and keeping everyone happy that's checking their dashboards all the time.
Okay, that's fair enough. I'm also very addicted to all my Tableau dashboards, so I understand that. And I think that's it for the questions. So I think now is the time where I thank you guys very much for sharing your stories today. Again, really nice story, and we are really glad that we could do that today. So thank you for that. I just want to remind everybody that this has been recorded, and you will receive the recording later. Lastly, there will be a survey just when this webinar is over, so please make sure you fill that up. Thank you very much, everyone.